Slow zoom in on a framed wedding photo of Matt and Caryn sitting atop a dusty dresser inside the farmhouse. A soft but dramatic piano track begins to play underneath. When Matt Roloff and Caryn Chandler began their journey together, fans thought it was Matt's second chance at happiness. After years of heartbreak and complicated family ties, here was a man who had finally found someone new to laugh with, to build with, to dream with. Cut to clips of Matt and Caryn on the Roloff farm, laughing together in older TLC footage, then transitioning to more recent shots of them looking serious, disconnected, or even apart. But something changed. Whispers of betrayal, long silences at public events, and looming quietly in the background, a name fans know all too well: Amy Roloff. Clip, slow pan over an old group photo. Matt, Caryn, Amy, and Chris, all smiling uncomfortably at a family event. What started as a peaceful blending of past and present may have turned into something far more painful. Did Amy Roloff, intentionally or not, come between Matt and Caryn? Is the shadow of an old marriage haunting a new one? Cut to interview footage, if available, of Amy talking about her past with Matt. If not, panned over Amy's recent social media posts, hinting at emotional reflection. Today, we dive deep into the unraveling of Matt and Caryn's relationship, from subtle tensions on the Roloff farm, to wedding plans postponed, to the heartbreaking signs fans noticed long before the couple ever admitted trouble in paradise. Matt and Caryn Roloff's divorce. It's all over for them. Because of Amy? Stay with us as we piece together the emotional puzzle that's left fans stunned and the Roloff family at a crossroads. Hello viewers, welcome back to my channel. For Roloff family latest news update, please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon. When Matt Roloff and Caryn Chandler first stepped into the spotlight as a couple, it was a relationship born in the shadow of another: Matt's long and highly publicized divorce from Amy Roloff. Caryn, who had worked for years as the manager of Roloff Farms, was a familiar face to fans. But after Amy and Matt parted ways, many were surprised to see how quickly Caryn transitioned from employee to girlfriend. Initially, some fans were skeptical, concerned that the romance had started too soon. But over time, Matt and Caryn seemed to prove their critics wrong, painting a picture of a couple ready to embrace a second chance at love. Their relationship blossomed with public highlights: luxurious vacations to Hawaii and Cabo, fun adventures on the farm, and plenty of smiles captured on both TLC and social media. The couple often talked openly about their shared dream of moving to Arizona full-time, a plan they teased for several seasons. Fans even saw Matt purchase property in Arizona, suggesting that retirement and a fresh start were on the horizon. Then came the big moment in 2023. Matt proposed to Caryn, and she said yes. The engagement was long awaited and seemed to be the natural next step in a love story that had weathered public scrutiny and years of family drama. But as the months passed, that storybook ending started to look a little shaky. Recently, fans have noticed some troubling signs that all may not be well in paradise. For starters, Caryn has been noticeably absent from many of Matt's social media posts. Previously, the two would share photos from trips, home renovations, or cozy nights in together. But lately, it's been mostly Matt alone. His Instagram, once full of affectionate captions and couple moments, has turned into a solo feed filled with updates on the farm and personal reflections. Adding fuel to the speculation, Caryn has made fewer appearances in public and during press events tied to Little People, Big World. At recent meet-and-greet events and promotional interviews, Matt was often seen alone, sparking questions about why Caryn was missing from these key milestones, especially with wedding talk in the air. Even on the show itself, subtle but telling clues have emerged. In the most recent season of Little People, Big World, viewers saw a more emotionally distant Caryn. Her body language, tone, and facial expressions in certain scenes seemed detached, even cold at times, especially during conversations about wedding plans or moving to Arizona. When Matt would bring up their future together, Caryn's responses were occasionally vague or evasive. Fans quickly picked up on these cues, and social media buzzed with questions. Was Caryn really still all in on this relationship? Or was she having second thoughts? Many fans believe that something is clearly off, especially since there's been no official wedding date announced, even though the engagement has been public for over a year. The once excited talk of Arizona has slowed, replaced with quiet pauses and awkward silences. Some even speculate that the wedding is either delayed indefinitely or quietly canceled altogether. The biggest red flag? The emotional tone of Caryn on camera. In earlier seasons, she was playful, involved, and seemed genuinely enthusiastic about building a future with Matt. But more recently, her on-screen presence has changed. Viewers say she appears checked out, and at times, even uncomfortable during scenes with Matt. It's a stark contrast from the bubbly, assertive woman fans first came to know. Whether it's due to unresolved tension, growing apart, or something else entirely, fans are left wondering, is the wedding really happening? Or is this just another Roloff romance heading toward heartbreak? What once looked like a strong bond between two people who had found love later in life is now under a cloud of uncertainty. And the silence, both online and on the show, is speaking louder than ever. As Matt Roloff tries to move forward in life with Caryn Chandler, one undeniable truth keeps surfacing. Amy Roloff's presence hasn't truly faded into the background. Though their marriage officially ended years ago, Amy remains deeply interwoven in Matt's world through family ties, shared business interests, and, most significantly, the Roloff farm's legacy. And for Caryn, that ever-present shadow may have become too much to ignore. After their divorce, Matt and Amy initially tried to establish healthy boundaries, especially while co-parenting their 4 children, Zach, Jeremy, Molly, and Jacob. However, those boundaries blurred as business and family matters continued to intertwine. Amy may have sold her portion of the farm, but she didn't disappear from its daily operations or family gatherings. In fact, her continued involvement, whether it's organizing events on the property, attending grandkids' birthday parties, or appearing in TLC specials filmed at the farm, kept her firmly embedded in Matt and Caryn's lives. And that, insiders say, has caused deep discomfort for Caryn over the years. From the very beginning, Caryn found herself walking a fine line, supporting Matt, appearing in Little People, Big World, and maintaining her identity outside the long-standing Matt and Amy dynamic. But fans began noticing moments of tension between Caryn and Amy, particularly in episodes where both women were present. According to several sources close to production, Caryn has long felt second place at major events, especially when Amy steps in with strong opinions or reclaims the spotlight, particularly when it comes to the grandkids or anything happening on the farm. A now notorious example occurred during one of the Roloff grandchildren's birthday parties. While Matt and Caryn had prepared the setup and invited guests, Amy reportedly took control of the cake cutting and party organization, effectively sidelining Caryn's input. TLC cameras captured the moment, and while it may have seemed minor to some viewers, body language experts and fans alike picked up on Caryn's discomfort, a tight-lipped smile, folded arms, and sidelong glances. Similar stories surfaced again during pumpkin season events on the farm. Even after moving off the property, Amy would return and involve herself in decisions about signage, tours, and setup. For Matt, it was business as usual. Amy had always been part of these traditions. But for Caryn, it was yet another reminder that Amy still had one foot firmly in a world Caryn was trying to fully enter. These seemingly harmless overlaps added emotional strain to what was already a complicated situation. Caryn hasn't been entirely silent about her frustrations, either. In a People magazine interview a few years ago, she hinted at the awkwardness of being part of a blended family with so much history. "It's hard to find your own space," she said. "Sometimes, I feel like I'm walking into someone else's past, and they're still living in it." While she didn't mention Amy by name, the subtext was clear. In more recent fan Q&As on social media, Caryn also responded vaguely to questions about her absence at certain family events. "Sometimes it's just easier to skip things," she wrote in one Instagram comment, "for peace of mind." That short statement said more than 1,000 words, confirming for fans that emotional tension still lingers behind the scenes. Can Caryn and Matt ever truly build a life together, one that feels like there's alone, while Amy remains a central figure in so many areas of Matt's life? From the outside, It looks increasingly like Amy's presence, intentional or not, has created a barrier Caryn may no longer be willing to tolerate. As we move deeper into this unraveling story, Amy's influence continues to shape the fate of Matt and Caryn's relationship in ways no one quite expected. As the dust settled around Matt Roloff's post-divorce life and his evolving relationship with Caryn Chandler, the deeper impact on the rest of the Roloff family slowly began to show. What once was a tight-knit unit became fractured, and nowhere was this more evident than in how the Roloff children responded. Zach and Tori Roloff, in particular, have been at the heart of this tension. For years, viewers watched Zach grow up under Matt's shadow, working on the farm, stepping into responsibilities, and even expressing interest in taking over someday. But all that seemed to unravel after Matt's controversial decision to sell portions of the Roloff farm instead of passing it down to Zach. The fallout was dramatic, leaving both sides hurt and estranged. Zach's move to Washington with Tori only deepened the divide. Tori, fiercely loyal to her husband, has made her stance clear. She remains close to Amy, the kids Mimi, frequently posting heartfelt photos of their children with Amy on social media, often celebrating milestones and holidays by her side. In stark contrast, Tori's relationship with Caryn has remained noticeably distant. There are few, if any, public photos of the two women interacting warmly, and Tori has subtly avoided joint family gatherings that include Caryn. Fans have pointed out that Tori often skips events at the farm altogether when Caryn is involved, opting instead for quieter celebrations with Amy. This divide has even spilled over to the next generation, the grandchildren. Jackson, Lila, and Josiah have a visibly strong emotional bond with Amy. Videos show them baking in her kitchen, helping with her charity events, or simply cuddling with her during bedtime stories. By contrast, there is very little footage of the kids with Caryn, further reinforcing the emotional and generational split. Jacob Roloff, the youngest of the Roloff siblings, has taken a different approach, but his loyalty is clear. Though he stays out of the spotlight and isn't a central figure in the LPBW franchise anymore, Jacob's actions have spoken volumes. He frequently works alongside Matt on the farm, helping with harvest season and pumpkin patch preparations. Yet, at the same time, he publicly supports Amy on social media and often comes to her defense. It's a complex balance, but one that leans toward Amy when emotional stakes are high. Holidays and family events have become more than celebrations. They've become battlegrounds of loyalty. Who shows up where and with whom has become an unspoken indicator of alliance. Christmas at Amy's? Tori, Zach, and the kids are there. A Father's Day barbecue at the farm with Matt and Caryn? Noticeably quieter. Even birthdays, once big, shared affairs, are now fractured across households, often requiring two celebrations so both grandparents can see the kids separately. Behind the scenes, Matt is reportedly feeling alone. Sources close to the family suggest that while he remains busy with projects and his relationship with Caryn, Matt has started to recognize the emotional cost of the family split. His attempts at reconciliation with Zach haven't gained traction, and the absence of his grandchildren at key farm events, especially during pumpkin season, has been deeply felt. Some insiders claim that Matt hoped the farm would be the place that kept everyone together. Instead, it became the very wedge that drove them apart. In many ways, the Roloff family's fracture isn't just about property or relationships. It's about trust, history, and the complicated reality of choosing sides in a very public family saga. As emotional as the Roloff family drama has been, the business side of things has always been just as complex, especially when it comes to Roloff farms. For years, the heart of the show revolved not just around family dinners or birthday parties, but the decisions surrounding the property that has been the centerpiece of Little People, Big World since day one. Let's rewind. After their divorce, Amy made the difficult decision to sell her portion of the farm to Matt. It was emotional, teary, and controversial. Fans watched as Amy packed up decades of memories and handed over the reins to the man she had built a life with and was now walking away from. But at the time, it seemed like a clean break. Financially, at least. Matt became the sole owner of the majority portion of Roloff Farms. That meant full control, but it also meant full responsibility. And Caryn? She was right there with him during this new phase, helping to envision a future for the farm that included pumpkin season expansions, potential wedding venues, and maybe even passing the land to the kids. Or so fans thought. As time passed, however, things began to shift. Caryn slowly distanced herself from the business discussions. On recent seasons of the show, she's been noticeably quieter when it comes to farm planning. Unlike earlier years, where she seemed excited to be involved, giving her input and attending strategy sessions, she now avoids most of those conversations. Sources close to the family even claim that Caryn didn't want to be dragged into the ongoing farm disputes that have plagued the Roloff siblings, particularly Zach's falling out with Matt. Her withdrawal wasn't just about family loyalty, but possibly about peace of mind. Caryn has reportedly said she wants to start fresh, and that may not include the Oregon farmland that has become a battlefield. This brings us to real estate. While Matt continued developing new projects on the farm, including a stunning new dream home, designed with long-term vision in mind, Caryn was making other plans. Namely, Arizona. The couple had purchased property there years ago, originally meant to be a getaway. But over time, Arizona seemed less like a vacation spot and more like a possible escape plan. A new life. A new beginning. Caryn's hesitations about staying in Oregon may have been quietly growing for years. While Matt poured money into building his house, Caryn was allegedly reluctant to fully commit to living there full-time. Some even say she never wanted to move into the new house at all. And with growing tension between Matt and his kids, particularly Amy's closeness with Zach and Tori, Caryn may have felt like an outsider, isolated, disconnected. Meanwhile, Amy has remained deeply tied to the Little People, Big World brand. Despite selling her stake in the farm, she still films regularly. She appears at events. She comments on farm matters. In many ways, she never truly left. Her presence lingers, emotionally and publicly. In contrast, Caryn has all but vanished from the business side. Her involvement with the show has dwindled. Her appearances are less frequent. And with news of the divorce circulating, it's clearer than ever that Caryn was not just pulling away from Matt emotionally, but also from everything the Roloff legacy stood for. And so, the Roloff farm stands as more than just land. It's a symbol of what was, of what could have been, and of what was ultimately lost. With Matt still holding ownership, Amy maintaining influence, and Caryn stepping away. The tension that had been simmering for years finally boiled over in what insiders describe as a relationship-defining blow-up. Multiple behind-the-scenes sources close to the Roloff family claim that Caryn Chandler confronted Matt Roloff in a deeply emotional argument, accusing him of still emotionally prioritizing his ex-wife, Amy Roloff. According to one insider, the moment came after a family event where Matt was seen spending a significant amount of time with Amy, helping her set up decorations and even reminiscing about old times. Caryn, reportedly already feeling sidelined, viewed this as the ultimate betrayal. She allegedly told Matt, "You're still married to her, just without the paperwork." The confrontation, described as raw and long overdue, exposed deep fractures in their dynamic. Caryn had long remained silent on many of Amy's jabs and her lingering involvement in the farm and the family. But that silence seemed to snap. Friends close to her say Caryn had grown tired of constantly being the one to make compromises, stepping away from business decisions, avoiding family gatherings where Amy would be present, and even entertaining a move to Arizona just to get a fresh start. The emotional confrontation didn't come out of nowhere. Fans had already picked up on clues over the past several months. Amy had posted a cryptic message on Instagram that read, "Some people are only okay with you as long as they're still the center of your world." Though no names were mentioned, speculation immediately surged in fan forums that this was a subtle jab at Matt, or possibly Caryn. Adding fuel to the fire, Matt has remained eerily silent on the topic. No comments, no clarifications, not even a defense of Caryn when fans began dissecting the situation online. For someone as media-savvy as Matt Roloff, this silence felt louder than words. It left fans wondering, is Matt hiding something? Or was Caryn's intuition right all along? Some followers even believe Matt never fully got over Amy. Their decades of shared history, their children, their legacy on the farm. It's a bond that can't easily be erased. And though Matt has publicly tried to build a new life with Caryn, the emotional entanglement with Amy might have been stronger than he ever admitted, even to himself. For Caryn, who entered Matt's life during a time of transition, the realization that she might always be the second chapter, not the main story, was devastating. And for fans watching it all unfold, it became painfully clear. The final straw wasn't just about a fight. It was about years of emotional neglect, buried jealousy, and a love triangle that never truly resolved. As the drama between Matt Roloff, Caryn Chandler, and Amy Roloff plays out both on-screen and off, fans of Little People, Big World have taken to social media in droves, and the reactions are anything but united. Across platforms like Instagram, Facebook, Reddit, and fan forums, a clear divide has emerged: Team Caryn versus Team Amy. For many longtime viewers, Amy Roloff has always been the heart of the show. Her raw honesty, emotional vulnerability, and visible struggles post-divorce earned her an outpouring of empathy over the years. These fans argue that Caryn never fully integrated into the Roloff dynamic. Some claim she acted as a placeholder for Matt, a rebound who never really clicked with the rest of the family. She always seemed like an outsider. One Reddit user wrote, "Caryn was never going to be Amy, and that gap never closed." But others see things differently. Supporters of Caryn argue that she gave Matt a fresh start and stood by him even when the family tensions were thickest. Many believe she was unfairly painted as the villain from day one, often being judged harshly simply because she came after Amy. Some fans blame Amy for not stepping back emotionally, continuing to have a large presence in Matt's life, especially when it came to the farm and family events. "Amy was always around," commented one Instagram user. "She never really let Matt and Caryn build something separate." In fact, one viral TikTok theory has stirred up controversy, proposing that Amy may have subtly influenced her children's views against Caryn, especially Zach and Tori, whose distance from Matt in recent years has been well documented. This theory suggests Amy's influence, whether intentional or subconscious, may have helped alienate Caryn. On the flip side, some YouTube vloggers argue that Caryn was never invested in Matt long-term and always intended to leave Oregon for Arizona, with or without Matt. Fan responses aren't just speculative, they're deeply emotional. For viewers who have been with LPBW since the beginning, this latest development feels like watching a family they've grown to love fall apart. "It's like seeing your own parents split up again," one comment read. Others are more cynical. "We watched Matt chase happiness after Amy. And now even that seems to be crumbling. What was it all for?" In Facebook groups, heated comment sections have sparked lengthy debates about who is really at fault. Some fans lament that Matt never took enough time alone after his divorce and rushed into a relationship with someone who didn't truly want to be part of the chaos that is the Roloff legacy. Others counter that Amy never respected boundaries, often inserting herself back into farm business and family events even when it made Caryn uncomfortable. Regardless of where fans fall, one thing is clear: the Roloff family's personal struggles have touched their audience on a deeply personal level. The emotional investment is real, and for many, choosing between Amy and Caryn feels like choosing between two very different visions of what the Roloff family should be. As the season finale nears and more behind-the-scenes footage and interviews potentially air, the fanbase waits anxiously. Will there be reconciliation? Will Matt and Caryn explain their side of the story? Or will Amy's presence continue to loom large, even from the sidelines? In the end, it's not just about who is right or wrong. It's about a family that fans have rooted for, argued over, and cried with, and the heartbreak of realizing that even after all these years, the story is far from a happily ever after. Fade in on a montage of emotional Roloff family moments: Matt and Caryn smiling on the farm, Amy surrounded by grandkids, old scenes from Little People, Big World. Soft piano music plays. Whether Amy Roloff truly played a role in Matt and Caryn's possible split, or whether this was simply a relationship strained by years of complicated history, one truth remains: the Roloff family saga is far from over. From farm feuds and emotional reunions to new beginnings and painful goodbyes, The Roloffs have lived their lives in front of millions. But this latest chapter has left fans with more questions than answers. Is Matt finally ready to move on from his past? Was Caryn ever fully accepted into the family fold? And is Amy's shadow still looming larger than anyone expected? As the dust settles, fans are left heartbroken, divided, and deeply invested. Some hope Matt and Caryn can find a way back to each other. Others believe this is the inevitable end of a love story that was always written with an asterisk. Whatever the outcome, one thing is certain. The Roloff story continues to evolve, unexpected, emotional, and impossible to look away from.